it's Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome to my latest video. Today I'm going to be setting up my December journal zine, but I'm also going to share with you a flip through of my November zine, and as promised I've mentioned kind of all the way through this monthly project that I wanted to find a way of being able to store and keep them all together. So over the weekend I made myself a cover for my zines, and it's really simple, but I'm so happy with how it's come together and I can keep all of my zines in here. So what I actually started off with was a cereal box, and I looked for one with quite a wide side panel. So literally all I did was roughly cut out the shape that I wanted for my cover. And boxes are just fantastic for covers. I use them all the time. And I then put a coat of gesso over it because I knew it had some quite strong colours on the outside that I didn't want peeping through. And I then glued some paper on the inside and outside. I folded it over because I wanted to make sure I didn't have any kind of rough edges on the top or bottom. And I've then used some washi tape along the sides just to toughen them up a little bit. And for keeping them in here, I've kept it really simple, and I've just used some embroidery thread. So I've got this whole box here of gorgeous different colour embroidery threads, and I tried to pick one that kind of went with the colour of the cover, and I've then just tied them all on the back. And I've threaded the ribbon underneath to keep that in place for tying the cover down. So I've just done a double knot and then snipped them. And I really like how pretty it makes that spine look as well. And also another plus for me was, like with traveller's notebooks, if I ever want to take one of these out, they're really easy to slip in and out from underneath the threads. So I'll just have the one more then to put in here, which I've definitely got plenty of space for. And in fact, I've probably got room for another couple of zines. So what I might do is, if I have any kind of special days out or big occasions that I really want to remember, maybe create another zine for that, and then I can just pop it in here as well. But I'm just loving seeing all of these in here. This has been just a wonderful monthly project for 2021, and just thank you to everybody else who's joined in as well and been sharing their journal zines. And I won't be doing this every month next year, but if you keep on making them, please do share them, and I will definitely still be making them from time to time. So this was my November journal zine, which I set up last month on YouTube, where I did the cover and I shared my first 2 pages. And I've also carried on documenting, or I think I'd included that one last time as well. And I included a photo in here of my art journal because on Patreon in November, our creative challenge for the month was art journaling, and I absolutely loved it. I did so much art journaling during that month. In fact, you will have probably just seen a flip through of my art journal video on YouTube. So I wanted to document that in there. I also took a photo of my whiteboard with lots of post-it notes all over it because I'm in kind of big planning sessions at the moment with myself, thinking about everything I want to focus on with long-term goals and throughout the course of next year. So I took a photo and put that in there and did a little review of how the month has been. So I'm really happy with how the November zine turned out and the cover, and it's just wonderful seeing them all in there. So I'm now going to set up my zine for December. I think I'm probably going to keep it nice and simple because I don't have loads of time on my hands today. But that's one of the things I absolutely love about the zines, is you can take your time and make them as elaborate as you like, or just set them up really quickly. So I've already created the basis for my zine using a sheet of printer paper, and I will leave a link down below to when I've actually done the tutorial for these in case you haven't seen it. And I'm just going to add some coloured paper to my cover. And I've got some papers here that I bought last year. They're from stamperia.com. I think I actually bought mine on Amazon, so if I can find them, if they're still around, I will leave them linked. And I'm going to just find one that I want to use and glue it onto the cover. To glue this down, I'm going to use Pritt Stick, and it's only sort of quite a lightweight glue stick, but I found that on all of the zines I've created so far, it's been absolutely enough to hold down papers on the covers and anything else I've wanted to add. So I'm just going to put a good amount of glue all over there, and I'm going to line this up as best as I can so that I don't lose too much. I don't want to place it in the middle because I want to be able to cut that and then use that scrap paper for other projects. So I'm now just going to grab a pair of scissors and cut all the way around the outside. Now I've got that cover on there, I just want to add a few extra little bits of decoration. And this is a sticker book from London Gifties, the Meatball range. And in here I put any kind of loose stickers from sticker sheets that I've bought, but also when I cut out all the images from my Patreon printables, I include these here too. And I want to put something with the month of December on there. And then probably some extra decorations as well. Because I've printed these on transparent paper, I'm not sure how well they're going to show up. I did print some on white as well, so I'm just going to have a look for those. I always print out the 2 copies of my sticker sheets because these do look really nice on a white background, and they look like you've kind of added them yourself straight onto your page. But if you're doing something on a coloured background, then something on white paper is definitely going to show up a little bit better. So these are the 2 images that I want to include, so I'm just going to cut around those a moment. So I'm happy with that. It's just added something a little bit extra on the cover, and I'm then just going to have a quick look through my Tim Holtz Ideology sticker book and find a quote that I can add to. The quote I've picked is, "Miracles happen when you believe." Okay, so that's it, nice and quick and simple, and that is my cover now done. And on these opening pages, I think I'm going to start straight away with these. I printed off these photos using the Brother Design and Craft printer. We went to a Christmas market at the weekend in our local town, so we just walked down to that, and it was really lovely seeing the atmosphere, and there was live music and the smell of things like mulled wine and mince pies. It's just a really nice kind of feeling for getting you in the mood for kind of the festive period. And there were lots of stalls as well from local shops and local craft people. So it was just a really nice experience, and I think kind of set the tone for me for December of wanting to make sure that I take some time out to go and enjoy all these little things. Because I always find December's a really busy month. I think partly because I try and take a reasonable amount of time off between Christmas and New Year, so you're already trying to get kind of the same amount done in less time. It's also a busy time for me on certain work projects. And my daughter will be coming home from university soon, which I just can't wait for, and want to make sure that I've got plenty of time to spend with her and then with family members. So I just find that everything kind of gets condensed into a very short period of time, everything that I need to get done. So whilst I know I'm going to be really busy, I want to make sure that I take plenty of time to have fun along the way. So I'm going to cut these two up and put them on my pages. I've just noticed actually, if you have got the same Brother printer as me, I'll leave it linked down below, that they've updated their app. So there's a version 2 available, and it's got lots more artwork on there. And you can pick which different label sizes you want to use, which is really handy, I think, for if you've got kind of different size things you want to print, like photos. I use the biggest size labels, and then you've got, I think that's the second to smallest size, and I really like having those choices for being able to play around with what I want to include. And I love having these little bits of artwork, so handy. I think I might go up to the trees on that one. Put it up here. So as I said, I'm planning on keeping it nice and quick and simple today. And these are the only pages I'm going to create because I know that this is one of those months where I'm going to have lots and lots of different things that I'm going to want to document throughout the month. So for my little heading, I'm going to add that along the side here. So I've added my little heading there. So I've got Christmas market on one day and the smell of mulled wine and mince pies on the other. For this lettering, I used the Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen with a firm nib, and I get all of my pens from Cult Pens. And I'm now going to add a little bit of journaling about kind of what was going on that day and what it meant to me. So that is it, that's my journaling done, and hopefully it's a really good reminder of, even when things get really busy, it's possible to do some quick documenting. It doesn't have to take a huge amount of time at all. So those will be my only pages in there, and as long as I get those done throughout December, I'll be really happy. I'll take lots of photos so I can always come back to them and use those in some of my other journals to document more moments, but it really doesn't have to take too long. And on that note, I'm hoping, I wasn't even planning to announce this yet, but it's in my mind. So in January, I'm hoping to release a free 5-day workshop, which will be an introduction to journaling. So everything with lots of tips to be able to get you started, kind of the real basics and how it doesn't have to take long, and simple things you can do to help make it a habit that you're able to keep up with. So I haven't even started filming it yet, but I've written out all of the content that I'm going to be sharing, along with the help of my patrons, I have to say, who've been kind of giving me all their thoughts and things they wish they'd known, which has just been so helpful. So do check out, there'll be a link to my blog down underneath the video description, and as long as you're subscribed to that, once that class is ready, I'll be sending all of the newsletters and the links to the videos and things out through that. So that's something I'm really want to get filmed and out at some point in January, so I hope you'll enjoy that. And I hope you loved seeing my little zine and what I've done with the cover. And I hope you're doing well. As always, a massive thank you to everybody who's joined me over on Patreon. I hope you're doing well. Thank you ever so much for watching. I look forward to speaking with you really soon in my next video.